Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing my August TBR. Alright guys, so similar to my July TBR, I'm going to keep this August TBR pretty brief, only because I've kind of turned into a mood reader. So I am still off work for all of August. I don't go back to work until September, so I should be able to get a lot of reading done. So there are a few series that I actually want to start. There's also a few series that I plan on continuing. There's 2 YA fantasies, 1 YA fantasy, and a couple fantasy romance. So there's a good mix of books on this list. And if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram and Goodreads, both linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's talk about the books I want to read in August. Alright, so starting off with YA Fantasy, I'm actually pulling this first book from last month's TBR because I didn't get to it, and that is Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levensellar. So I don't know very much about this. I know it's like a Nordical YA tale following this girl that I think she ends up taking over a ship, and it's a duology, but that's really all I know. I was very concerned because I'm not a huge fan of The Shadows Between Us by that author, but a lot of you messaged me and told me that you much prefer Daughter of a Pirate King, and I'll still probably like it. So I'm very excited to read that. And then also I want to read Namesake by Adrian, which is the sequel to Fable. I absolutely love Fable. It is so atmospheric, and it was just great, and I was waiting for the perfect time to read Namesake. So my family ends up going to Virginia at the end of August. We do it every year. My husband's family owns a lake house, and we all kind of have like a family reunion. And I normally just read the entire time. Like I just sit in the dock and read. So I figured I would read both those books. They just kind of give me like the whole like lake vibes. I also have 2 thrillers I plan on reading and vlogging that weekend that I'm very excited about. But yeah, so I should be reading both of those fantasies towards the end of August. Alright, so in August, I plan on reading 3 adult fantasy stories. I don't know what I'm doing. It has been quite a while since I've read high fantasy. I don't know how it's gonna go. So why is this happening? So my husband has been absolutely loving the Stormlight Archive. He doesn't typically read. He's read the first 3 books in like 2 weeks. So I told him if he read A Court of Thorns and Roses, I would read the first 2 books in the Stormlight Archive. So I've already read The Way of Kings. I'm gonna have to do a reread because I read it like a year ago. And then I think the second book is Words of Radiance. So hopefully I will get both of those read. I really want him to read ACOTAR. I just think he's gonna end up liking it. And then Isa from Fun Fantasy Books, she wants me to read, I believe it's called The Guns of Dawn, which is a Jane Austen military fantasy reimagining. I know it's really long, but she said it's like her absolute favorite book. She really, really loved it. And I just want to try out one of her recommendations. So I will be reading those 3 books. It should be interesting. Hopefully they get read. So I might actually vlog me reading Stormlight and my husband reading ACOTAR. I just think it's going to be funny watching him read it. Let me know if you guys want to see that. But yeah, so hopefully those will be read this month. Alright, and next up I want to continue with a series that I have been absolutely loving. However, I don't know when the audiobooks are going to be released. So that is the Bansatai, and this is by Bree. This is a reverse harem paranormal bully romance, and I'm obsessed. It is so good. I talk about this in my July wrap-up, so definitely check that out. But this series is just amazing. Now, I listened to the audiobooks, and I love the audiobook narrators. The first 3 books are out. I am still waiting for the other ones to drop. Hopefully, they drop in August. So hopefully I will be continuing with the series. It's so good. Highly, highly recommend. And then continuing with fantasy romance, I really want to read To Snap a Silver Stem, which is the second book after To Bleed a Crystal Bloom. I loved that first book. However, there are so many unanswered questions at the end of the first book, and the second book I think is going to be absolutely amazing. I hope it really ties up all the loose ends because there was so much going on at the end of that first book. But the first book, To Bleed a Crystal Bloom, is a fantasy romance story, and it starts off with this young girl being found as the only surviving member of this horrible massacre, and the person that finds her takes her to his like isolated tower where he raises her, and all he asks in return is a drop of her blood every night. And so much goes on with the story, and you're kind of learning with the main character about this world. So I was confused for the first 80% of this book. However, I think the author just did an amazing job. Like, I really enjoyed this fantasy romance. So, like I said, I can now wait for the second book to be released. I know she pushed the release date back, but I think it is still coming out in August. So I am super excited to read it. All right, and then moving into romance, I really want to read Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton. Everyone seems to be loving this book right now. Like, it just keeps getting amazing reviews. The cover is absolutely stunning. So I don't know very much about it. I think it's a dark romance. H.D. Carlton also wrote Hunting Adeline and Haunting Adeline. So I'm sure it's going to be super dark but super steamy. And I believe it's enemies to lovers. So I think this girl goes through like some sort of trauma, and then she hides out at a lighthouse where she meets like this other like evil guy, and they end up forming a relationship. I could be completely off base. I actually already started this via Kindle. I'm about not even halfway. I'm about a quarter way through the book, and it does. I was hooked from the very beginning of this, so I am so excited to keep reading. But yes, this will definitely be a top read for August. Another series that everyone seems to be loving that I really want to check out is the Tattered and Torn series by Cowles. I know it's a small town romance, and I think like every book ends with like a kidnapping or like something dramatic happening at the end. But like I said, a lot of people I follow on Bookstagram and BookTube are loving this series, and it's been a while since I read a really good small town romance, so I have very high hopes for this one. And next up, I plan on continuing with the Clifton Forge series. So Clifton Forge is a motorcycle club small town romance series by Devney. I read the first 2 books, Steel King and then Riven Knight, in July, and I plan on reading the last 4 books. I think there's 6 books overall. Last 4 books in August. Tori from Novellife and then Jess from PeaceLoveBooks are currently hosting a readathon. It's been really fun so far, so I'll leave all the information for that readathon linked down in the description below. And then I also plan on picking up Garnet Falls, one of those, the 3rd book in the Indigo Ridge series, and a lot of people are really loving it. So Indigo Ridge is kind of like romantic suspense, and it just sounds really good. It's getting great reviews, so I cannot wait to pick that up. And next up, I want to read Chastely, Bitten, which is the first book in the Blood Allegiance or Blood Alliance series, and it's a paranormal romance series. I'm pretty sure they're vampires, and this girl is taken, and she's a human, and she's going to be like the vampire's feeding bag or something of that nature. One of my friends said this book was really good, and the whole series overall was really enjoyable, and it just sounds really fun, and I've been in the mood for paranormal romance after reading Savage Bonds and the Bonds That Tie. I'm really loving that genre right now, so I can't wait to jump into that series. All right, and this next book I actually just added to my TBR prior to filming this video. So I was watching Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl, and she added this to her August TBR, and that is Pageant. And apparently this is like a mafia dark reverse harem where our main character has to be in this like beauty pageant to be selected to be in a reverse harem with these like high up mafia guys. And it just sounds dark and really good. So I am super excited about this. Once again, thank you, Cheyenne, because I didn't know this book existed, but it should be really fun, and I definitely plan on reading it in August. And then last up, I really want to read Locked Up Liars, which is the first book in the Saint View Prison series, I believe. And I actually got this recommendation from Liesl from Liesl Loves Books. It just sounds really interesting. Apparently, I like reverse harems now. So it's like a dark reverse harem set in a prison. That's all I really know. That's all I really needed to know. And I know a lot of other booktubers have really been enjoying it. So I definitely plan on jumping into that series really soon. I will tell you guys what I think. I actually think I'm going to do a reverse harem recommendation video because I've been reading so many of them. Yeah, never thought I would say that. But I'm very excited to start this series. Alright guys, those are all the books I plan on reading in August. If you guys have any recommendations, please leave them down in the comments below. I said this already, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!